Good morning, everybody. I really hope that you enjoyed like the first day of Digital Dragons. There's a lot of stuff lined up for today as well. So I want to thank the entire team for providing us with like so much coffee and so much cookies. Like to keep our batteries up to 100%. I'm not Ljubica Garica, I'm Ljubica Garic, but that was close. That was close. So yeah, I'm Ljubica Garic, and I am a senior recruiter at 8-Bit. A bit about 8-Bit. So we are a international games industry recruitment agency. So we connect studios with top talent worldwide. Doesn't matter if they are a indie studio or a AAA studio, whether the game that they're working on is developed on mobile, PC, or console platforms, and or whether they're using VR, AR, AI, or blockchain. Yeah, we do it all. Like every role under the sun, we've done it. Um, and again, like I want to thank my team for sitting in the first row and supporting me. That's always nice. Thank you. Okay, awesome. So back to the topic, back to the reason why we are all there, why we are not all there, but all here. So the topic of salary transparency is definitely gaining a lot of traction in workplaces around the world and also in our field, game development. So in today's lecture, this is our agenda. I'll go over like what salary transparency actually is, how it benefits the employers, how it empowers employees as well. I'll tackle like some of the challenges of salary transparency, its future, and then hopefully we will have enough time for all your questions. Okay. So, speaking of salary transparency, so simply put, it is when companies are open about how much they pay their employees and or at least how they decide on these numbers. So this could mean publicly posting salary ranges, or at least making this information accessible to both current and also prospective employees. But why is this shift happening, and why is it happening now? So, to be honest, a big part of the push actually is coming from the recent legal changes around the world, and these changes are requiring companies to be more transparent about their salaries in order to tackle issues such as the gender pay gap or simply other forms of wage inequality. Um, but also, like there are, more than a few studios out there who are not doing this just because they are, pushed legally, but simply because they are aware that salary transparency is something that once they embrace the openness about salary, it actually builds trust, and it builds trust not just like within their team, but also outside of the team. So think of like salary transparency not just like crucial, like a legal necessity, but as actually like a tool that helps that everybody in our industry from QA to programmers is compensated fairly and transparently for the work that they are putting in. So let's now delve, what are like some of the benefits of salary transparency for employers, and I will particularly be focusing on how it helps them attract talent, and how it actually enhances equity within not just within their company, but within like the industry itself. And also, I will go over some of the fears and misconceptions about implementing salary transparency. Um, this was also a topic on your lecture yesterday, so all questions from your side will be more than welcome. Okay, so salary transparency shortly, like So one of the primary challenges that game dev companies face is, of course, attracting this top talent. But salary transparency can significantly improve this process simply by removing uncertainty about compensation and simply giving candidates like a clear understanding of what they can expect. So a company that in the past couple of years has been doing a lot of like great work on this topic is, of course, InnoGames in Germany, and so in their most recent report, they mentioned that before implementing salary transparency, a data analyst role took up 15 months to fill, and after they rolled out with transparent salaries, they managed to fill this very hard to fill role in 2 months, and also along the way they managed to fill 19 of their other vacancies. They have also received a lot of positive, unsolicited feedback about the candidates, about the company, and about the process, and praising the company for focusing on fair play, regardless of gender or negotiation skills. InnoGames also reported that they noticed a big change regarding openness and trust in these hiring conversations. Another example that okay, sorry. Another example that I can share is so for example, so Ubisoft, at least like in the US, so after implementing salary ranges for certain roles, they have also reported 25% increase in female candidates, and Riot Games, since listing salary ranges for some US roles in early 2023, they have noticed a higher quality of applicants and more efficient hiring. So as you can see, they have like 35% increase in qualified applicants, and they have managed to fill out roles 20% faster compared to previous years. So salary transparency can, of course, contribute to reducing pay disparities, particularly in the terms of gender and race, as it actually provides a clear framework that simply discourages biases and ensures fair compensation for everybody. So now I will go again through some of the examples on how actually companies manage to do that. So again, InnoGames tests their salaries at least once a year, using external market data, to ensure that their compensation is at the top third of the German labor market. And in 2023, they have made adjustments of up to 37% in these traditionally lower paid roles, such as community manager or QA manager, to ensure that these employees are paid fairly and according to the market standards. Paradox also, since introducing salary ranges, a report from 2022 actually showed that a 15% decrease in the gender pay gap since 2020, and also that they have noticed a 20% reduction in wage disparities between white and non-white employees. Also, they did receive a lot of, after conducting several internal surveys, they did receive, again, a lot of good employee feedback. So 72% of their employees felt more included, and simply felt that the new pay structures actually made the company more inclusive. And a really good thing. So they saw a 12% reduction in turnover rates following the first year after introducing these transparency measures. As for Riot, by being transparent about salary ranges, they firstly identified and corrected internal wage gaps. Simply ensuring that again, like everybody was paid accordingly. So they have managed to reduce the gender pay gap, uh, the racial pay gap. They have adjusted salaries for over 200 employees and introduced semi-yearly pay reviews. So, um, yeah, these are just like some of the most common fears and misconceptions that are following the topic of salary transparency. Just like the most common ones. So the first fear is that competitors will poach top talent if the salary info is made public. I mean, they're going to do it either way, but but transparency will lead to unrealistic salary expectations, that revealing salary disparities will actually cause resentment or pay envy within the company. And again, tied to the first fear that competitors will offer better salaries. Again, like I'll try to provide examples and how like some companies actually manage to overcome these fears. So the first fear that competitors will poach top talent if salary info is disclosed. This was something that InnoGames reported. They really feared a wave of headhunting attempts after going public with their salaries. But however, the management also said that these like proactive salary adjustments actually reinforced the trust within the company and actually managed to create a more harmonious work environment. So people actually, like if they already liked working there, they liked working there even more. Another common fear: revealing salary disparities will cause resentment and pay envy. With Paradox, after implementing the salary transparency, they conducted, of course, like an internal survey, and it actually came back with the result of like 68% of employees feeling more satisfied and feeling actually more aligned with company values. And again, going back, they had a 12% reduction in turnover rates. So no envy, but nearly like 70% of employees actually was feeling better about how much they earn and how much their colleagues earn. Oh geez. Another common fear: transparency will lead to unrealistic salary expectations. So managers actually fear that this will lead to inflated salary demands. So if I see that company X is offering this, that I will be pushing that, like no matter my experience or qualifications, etc. But actually, for example, for Riot, after this publishing salaries actually helped establish clear expectations for the candidates, and also like with existing employees, because all of them were actually empowered to negotiate based on facts rather than speculation, which led not just like to more fairer compensation, but also they negotiated a 20% decrease in salary negotiation time during recruitment. Competitors will offer better salaries. So yeah, management is usually fearful that if they publish these salaries publicly, it will actually give you will be serving your candidates on a plate to others, but it's really not the case. So for example, we can learn from Bungie's example. So instead of actually losing talent after going public, they managed to attract more qualified candidates who resonated more with their transparent culture. And since embracing this openness regarding salaries, they actually improved employee satisfaction scores. And also they filled roles, they reported that they were filling roles 50% faster. Okay. So we also recently ran a survey among game dev professionals about salary transparency, how important it is to them, how and why publicly posted, how and why the job ads with publicly posted ranges actually affect their decision to apply, and actually how being transparent from the very beginning affects and forms their opinion on a company. So these are just like some of the answers that we gathered on why on actually why salary transparency is important for them. So I love this. Like asking the candidate what is your idea of a salary usually feels like putting pressure on people to play it safe and ask for less. It simply saves time for both sides. And again, my second favorite, the applicant has to pass so many other tests, so at least this takes away one barrier. So yeah, like why is salary transparency important for us, for employees, for candidates? Because yeah, obviously the most the most significant benefit is that access to this salary data actually so basically, yeah, it provides you with this crucial information about like what you should be paid and what you can expect, and this levels the playing field, and again like helps candidates negotiate more effectively. So again, these are just again some of the examples. So Paradox, they reported that they reported a 30% increase in successful job offers, because, and also like knowing what they can expect, candidates came more prepared and more confident. When it comes to InnoGames, they have reported a 20% reduction in negotiation time, and again received much positive feedback about their practices and also like on their company culture. Riot, why when providing these pay ranges, actually they managed to empower candidates to ask for more competitive salaries. Negotiation time reduced by 25%, and candidates actually were reporting feeling more aligned with the company's values. As for Bungie, so they so actually they enabled so after actually comparing their internal ranges with the market data, they actually they actually did like a fair adjustment of salaries across 80% of roles, which actually led to 15% increase in employee satisfaction, and again managed to reduce turnover rates by 10%. As for Insomnia Games, so they have like Insomnia Games has like an annual salary review, and this is something that empowers their employees actually to discuss their salaries with their managers in a more open, more confident, more assertive way. So 90% of their employees again like felt confident when asking for a raise, and again like employee retention improved by 12%. With Ubisoft, they reported that that since their employees are now aware of the pay positioning, it also helped them advocate for their for their raises more. This also affected the employee morale. The employee morale it resulted actually in 20% increase in productivity, and also they saw a significant reduction in pay disparities. So yeah, like a quick summary. So we can say that salary transparency empowers candidates like in two crucial ways. So it provides clarity for negotiating salaries, and also like it enables effectively advocating for fair compensation. And I think that like we can all learn from these rather big companies, rather like with lots of rules, lots of regulations, again, like lots of employees, and we can take follow their good examples, simply to yeah, simply to make to advocate for our case, which is let's make salary transparency like a usual. Yeah, let's make it a standard. Okay, so implementing salary transparency, yes, definitely can be a transformative move for companies, but it also comes with challenges that require really careful planning. So in this section, I'll try to discuss, again, like some of the most common, some of the most common strategies on on how to implement salary transparency. What are like the most common hurdles? And yeah, I'll try to again provide examples. So first of all, I think it's really important that you establish that you establish like very clear goals for salary transparency. So ask yourself, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this now? What do we want to accomplish with this? So for example, Paradox defined its goals to reduce pay disparities and to promote inclusivity. So it's really important that in this process you actually engage the stakeholders, engage HR, engage management, and engage employees. Simply to clarify goals and benefits of implementing transparent salary practices. Also, before going public, I think it's really important to identify the existing disparities, in your own company before going public. So, going back to InnoGames, they conducted an internal pay audit to align the salaries with the market standards. So what you can do here, you can analyze salaries by role, by gender, and minority status within your company, and then adjust accordingly using external data benchmarks. Another common challenge is how do you develop is developing actually these clear salary bands. So you need to ensure that these salary bands are realistic, competitive, and aligned, and again, aligned with your company strategy, aligned with the company's values. So Riot, for example, created these salary bands for each role internally. So that actually helped all employees learn about their earning potential. So what you can do here to ensure this is again to use market research and benchmarking data. I know that we at 8-Bit are really passionate about this. So each year we actually we have a very thorough salary report on actually including just like Gamedev. So that it has really proven to be a very helpful tool. Our report is available on our website. So I'm asking you all, if you need any external data, our report can be helpful with this. Also, I think it's maybe I would maybe put this as the first step, because we were talking about how managers fear that if they go public with salaries, it could affect it could actually cause dissatisfaction. It could cause pay envy. So I think it's really important that you actually make sure that the employees, understand, the new these pay structures, why you're doing this, what's the goal behind it, to simply ensure that everybody is not just like knowledgeable, but aligned with your course of action. So, for example, Insomniac Games, they were communicating internally their salary ranges before actually before going public. So it's really important that you hold info sessions, QA sessions, lots of S's here, not just like with your managers, but also with your employees. And, to handle all concerns and all questions very carefully, very thoroughly before making this big public step. Okay, so bit about the future of salary transparency. So yeah, like a new thing that has been happening. So we can see that like I mentioned at the beginning that the big push for salary transparency actually comes from like new laws that are being introduced. So, for example, in the United States, several states such as California, Colorado, or New York require salary ranges in job postings, and it is expected that this will expand to more states and possibly actually reach federal level. In the European Union, we also are doing something important. So the EU Pay Transparency Directive will be in place by June 2026, and it will actually require employers to disclose pay structures and address pay equity as well. So we can confidently say that the regulatory requirements will continue to drive transparency globally, and simply like pushing the entire industry to adopt these new salary practices. Okay. So also some other trends that we are noticing. So we can also say / hope that transparency will become a recruitment standard. So as it becomes normalized, it will be increasingly expected by candidates. So again, I would like to draw your attention to the success that InnoGames had. So they went public. They managed to fill 19 roles in 2 months. Ubisoft saw an increase of 25% in more female candidates after publishing salary bands. So also like companies are more likely to adopt like regular pay audits, simply to identify and to actually correct any differences proactively. So Riot is conducting annual pay reviews, and it actually helped them reduce the gender pay gap from 10% to 3%. So again, I think that these that adjusting your salaries based on at least like once a year, this is something that like builds trust and simply ensures that everybody again like is compensated fairly. So another thing is that like transparency actually will not and does not include just salaries. So transparency includes also all the benefits, so all the bonuses, all the raises, and like all other benefits that simply come with the salary. And we can really say that that the transparency regarding these benefits is something that is becoming, at least I'm noticing that it is really like becoming as crucial as salary transparency. And yeah, also, we have like a lot of like HR software now that actually helps us identify like manage and analyze salary data much easier, making it again like much easier for us to correct any disparities internally. So so yeah, like I can like predict that like game companies will be adopting even more and more this data-driven compensation tools simply to streamline their transparency efforts. Okay, so just wanted to quickly wrap up this lecture. So please, if there's anything that I would like you to walk away with after this, it's like how salary transparency benefits employers, how it benefits employees, like what actually what's the work that you have to do before going public with your pay ranges, and also keep what the future brings regarding this pay transparency. Okay, so I've already mentioned like that the EU Pay Transparency Directive will be put in place in 2026. For all of you who would like to learn more about it and how it will actually change not just like the game dev landscape, but please come to our panel at 12 p.m. today. It's happening here at the same room. We have also we have representatives from 4 big Polish studios, which will be discussing the EU directive and salary transparency as well. Also, stop by our booth to talk to any of my colleagues on that, and also to get the EU pay transparency handout that we have. Probably we will have like a podcast on this coming soon. So what can I say? Keep up. For any of you, you can always scan the QR code here, or again stop by our booth. And I'd like to thank you for your time and attention. And I hope that you all heard something new or learned something new. Thank you. I believe that we have some time for questions, if there are any questions.
Yes, question please ask to the microphone so you can record it. And also here is a QR code that you can scan with the event app so you can share your opinion about this presentation.
That's fine. Like if anybody's like too shy, I'll be in the lobby, so you can catch me there.
Thank you so much for the talk. Incredibly informative, and it's really nice to see the details and the stats from other companies, because I know how hard doing auditing is. But I'm curious, especially because you have the report on salary. Do you have a lot of resistance from your clients and companies when you consult on what the salary should be? And is that changing, especially now with the 2026 regulation coming soon? What is the landscape looking like?
I have to say that as an agency, we really have fought. We really give like a lot of pushback to companies, that are not being like. To companies that are not being like really open about their like pay structures or pay practices, and this is, we really believe that everybody should be compensated fairly. And I would say that we are lucky to have found clients that we can that think like us. So, and also like to say no to clients whose like ethics compacts we do not agree on. But of course, like I realize that like not everybody is so lucky. Oh geez, I really hope that I won't fall. Like I should. Yeah, we know that like not everybody is so lucky, but again, like I think it's like really in the line of work that we do, I think it's really important that that your work is really aligned with your values. And the industry is vast enough. It might be harder. It might take more time. You might get lower fees, etc. But in the end, like if you are the one, like as a recruiter, I mean, I think that we share like responsibility for somebody's like life decisions and outcome and how their life could be. I think it's important like to stand your ground here and do what you can when you can. But also wanted to add that I think that like we have, I mean, my colleagues can also, you know, witness this, or I think that we really have been able to, with several clients, you know, simply to shed more light on what the actual salary ranges are, you know, to share light that this part of Europe is no longer like you know, a gold mine for game developers that will work for bread. Like, you know, that's not happening anymore. And again, like we're always like sharing like what are the benefits of being open with pay ranges, and we always back it up with data. You know, like you know, people don't believe like in personal stories. It's important, you know, like to use tools to gather data, and you know, when you put that in their face, there's really nothing that they can do.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much for this and all your insights, and for the team working collaboratively to present us with this amazing data. Thank you so much for that. Sort of dovetailing a little bit on that question, when you are encountering clients or sort of folks who are recruiting for roles who are a little bit resistant still, what are the sort of fears that the companies are presenting you with? Oh, we don't want to share it for these reasons or that reasons. Could you share a little bit of insight on that,
Oh
please?
yes. So the most common fear is again like these inflated. I would say like these inflated salary expectations. You know, like for example, like if a company is, you know, if a U.S. company is looking for developers in, you know, in Poland, they are afraid that, you know, okay, maybe they will want like U.S. salaries, and you know, we cannot afford that. Okay, like we get that, but still, you know, like these are the market rates, and you know, these are the market rates. This is what people with that type of experience are paid, and it's and again, like we always like try to. We always, you know, try to be honest, not just towards the companies, but also to candidates as well. So if we really see that these expectations that they're sharing with us are like inflated, you know, we say that, you know, again, using data and using very, very palpable facts about that. You're welcome.
So, hi Ljubica, I won't be asking you questions as I'm your teammate, but I actually wanted to ask you guys a question, because it's like, I'm super curious now, are we like just a social bubble that actually is into salary transparency? And I wanted to ask you a question. Can you raise your hand if your company has transparent salary bands right now? Okay, so we are still like minorities. Okay, that's great. I just wanted to make sure about that. And guys, are you in the position of like, you know, like impacting that, changing that? Are you now like the stakeholders, business decision makers, whatsoever? All right, so two people. Thanks, guys. Just wanted to make sure about that.
Again, like if anybody's like too shy to ask publicly, I'll be in the hallway for at least another 10 minutes. So feel free to catch me there. Yes, again, like I'll be here at noon at the panel, and I'll also be by your booth. I think I see a question over there. Sorry, not a question, a raised hand. I see a person raising a hand.
Thanks. So we have open salaries, basically salary bands. So what's next? What's next? What can we do more to push this forward?
What can we do next, as in like
as a company to make it even more like, you know, what's the cutting edge right now?
Well, I
in
would,
openness, in transparency.
Okay, openness and transparency, not just, you know, as a company. So not just be transparent about like, you know, your, you know, how much you pay people, but be more transparent about. So I mentioned like about like the benefits that you're offering, and the benefits don't have to be, you know, just like a sports card or fruit. Like I'm talking about, you know, like how flexible are you? How do you approach like certain challenges? Like, so how relaxed or confident or happy, you know, like someone might feel when they come or when they start working for your company. Also, I think it's you know, what you can do to encourage. Also, so for example, like if you know, what you can do to encourage other companies to follow in your steps is, you know, do what we are doing. You know, like, so share your experience with salary transparency. You know, like share personal stories, but also share data behind that. Because I think that, you know, when companies actually see and take into consideration, you know, like all the real like all the good things that come with being open, that they will start actually making these steps towards being more transparent. At least that's what I hope. That's what I'm hoping for and advocating for. Okay, so I think that is it. Again, thank you so much for the time and the questions. It's been a pleasure.